here, and it is so wonderful of a challenge that we have. We want tutoring to be in every location, even in our building next door. We want that challenge. Amen? And so at this time, we're going to give it to the hands that gave it. Well, we're going to give it to new hands. He's going to come and enter.
Muchas gracias, Pastor. Muy buenas tardes. ¿Cómo ven? Qué hermoso estar hoy día aquí con ustedes. Los cantos de fe y esperanza, que esto nos va a llevar a lo que nosotros como padres, como líderes y como personas que están en la educación podamos lograr esto. Todos son muy bienvenidos. Mi nombre es Salvador Diaz y seré guía esta noche junto con Keisha Jones. Soy padre líder de Innovate por los últimos 4 años y también muy orgulloso de ser un líder comunitario, especialmente en la comunidad incorporada de Walnut Park. Tengo mis hijos en diversas edades y varios de mis hijos ya son profesionales. Y tengo una hija en la universidad y otra en la escuela preparatoria. Estoy muy emocionado de estar aquí. Algo de lo que he hecho es dar la reflexión en el primer evento público que tuvimos como grupo de CELA en diciembre del 2019. Y ha sido un honor hoy día unirnos con nuestros compañeros padres líderes de Innovate y de los grupos de Westline Pico Union y el grupo de padres de todo el distrito escolar enfocado en la rendición académica de nuestros alumnos afroamericanos. Yo llevo más de 30 años como papá en escuelas de LAUSD y como líder comunitario. He visto superintendentes ir y venir, pasar por el distrito de LAUSD y hacer promesas sin realmente traer un cambio. Les tengo que contar que este día me siento diferente. Nuestro invitado especial de esta tarde es el superintendente Alberto Carvalho. Y realmente este nuevo líder que nos llegó de Miami me da esperanza. En el momento en que tuvimos en el año 2019 en el sureste, mi reflexión se trató de liderazgo auténtico y lleno de integridad que iba a ser necesario en nuestras escuelas y el distrito. Yo siento esa integridad y ese buen liderazgo en el superintendente Alberto Carvalho. Más que todo, me trae esperanza que él se movió para aprobar un plan estratégico con expectativas altas para nuestros niños afroamericanos y latinos. Yo lo sé, y muchos hemos sabido que nuestros alumnos pueden todo, que no solo deberían de ser excepción en las universidades de este estado y de este país, sino en la mayor parte de ellas. La visión de este evento es afirmar que el corazón de las metas del plan estratégico es el mismo corazón de los padres organizados de LAUSD. El propósito de hoy día es celebrar las oportunidades que el liderazgo del superintendente Carvalho y las metas del plan estratégico traen a todos y cada una de nuestras comunidades. Esta tarde será una tarde llena de fe, una tarde llena de esperanza, una tarde llena de compromisos compromisos del superintendente con nosotros como padres, pero también compromisos de nosotros como padres organizados con el superintendente. Juntos con el superintendente Alberto y nosotros seguiremos cada día haciendo wherever it takes, lo que sea necesario por nuestros niños y nuestros jóvenes. Hoy día se trata de 4 palabras que escucharán una y otra vez: fe, esperanza, compromisos y sobre todo resultados.
So again, my name is Keisha Jones, and I am a mom of 2 kids in LAUSD, a 13-year-old, 6-year-old, 8th grade, 1st grade. I will be co-chairing this event alongside of Salvador tonight. So let me do a quick overview of the goals for tonight. We are here to show Superintendent Carvalho that parents are committed to doing whatever it takes to help our kids learn and thrive, and to demonstrate that when parents are given the opportunity to lead, results follow for our children. We will hear from the superintendent about his strategic plan, the promising goals he has for our schools, and his vision for what our kids can accomplish. We will learn about the $184 million that have been dedicated to the Black Student Achievement Plan, and hear about why Superintendent Carvalho is committed to how he will ensure those funds will be spent this year. We will talk about increasing access to tutoring, one of the most effective ways to overcome learning loss and get our kids back on track after quarantining in the height of the pandemic, and accelerate their learning. This year, the district has allocated $28 million towards tutoring. So since we only have an hour together today, we will follow a tight agenda. Our 3 parent leadership teams have spent the past 8 months organizing and listening to families in their schools and their communities about the specific issues we're discussing tonight. We crafted our priorities and questions based on those conversations. We ask that everyone please respect the church, our guest, Superintendent Carvalho, and the agenda that we have prepared. Since there will not be time for open questions from the audience, we will have a comment box that is at the registration table, and you should have cards on your seat. If not, they are at the registration table as well. And you can write down your comments, questions, or testimonies after tonight's event, and we will compile them and share them with the superintendent. To help us all stay on track tonight, Melinda, our timekeeper, oh, here she is. Can you please raise your hand high? There she is. So she's right here in the front. I'm excited for tonight's meeting. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Salvador, I'm passing it back to you.
Gracias, Keisha. Ahora me gustaría presentar a Vicenta Martinez de nuestro grupo de padres líderes de West Lake Pico Union, que va a explicar quiénes somos y cómo llegamos aquí.
Muy buenas noches, mi nombre es Vicenta Martinez, soy madre líder de Innovate, tengo 3 hijos. Nosotros somos Innovate School. Desde el año 2018 hemos estado organizados en grupos de padres por todo el distrito escolar para criar nuestro poder como padres para las necesidades de nuestros niños. No ha sido fácil. Hay muchos grupos luchando para proteger sus intereses en nuestras escuelas y padres, y los niños son excluidos. Esta noche, junto con otros padres líderes, representamos familias y estudiantes en el Distrito Escolar de Los Ángeles, el distrito en el sureste, oeste y central, y en 4 distritos representados en la mesa directiva. En las 4 semanas pasadas de este evento, hemos tenido conversaciones con más de 1,300 padres. Nuestra misión es de crear un grupo unido, organizado, compuesto de padres afroamericanos y latinos que puedan apoyar unos a otros en demandar que nuestras escuelas públicas afirmen y preparen a nuestros niños a lograr sus sueños. Gracias.
Gracias, Vicenta. Ahora tenemos 4 temas, que es la fe, la esperanza, los compromisos y los resultados. Al igual que los valores, lo que nos mueve a nosotros como grupo de Innovate son los testimonios. Los testimonios de lucha y de éxito, que son el corazón del por qué estamos emocionados sobre este plan estratégico. Ahora continuaremos con nuestra agenda y escucharemos 2 testimonios de padres líderes sobre asuntos muy importantes para nosotros: la tutoría y el plan de rendición académica de nuestros alumnos afroamericanos. Les presento a Judith Larson y a Ciera Thornton, que van a venir al micrófono y alistarse para dar sus testimonios.
Híjole, se me sale lo mexicano. Estoy bastante nerviosa y muy emocionada. Tuve el honor de recibir a nuestro superintendente, señor Carvalho, y a Sara. Como soy tan nerviosa, voy a tener que leer un poquito. Muy buenas tardes a todos y a todas. Me gusta ser inclusiva. Muchas gracias, superintendente Carvalho, y a su equipo que lo acompaña hoy aquí, Sara, por darnos la oportunidad de saber quiénes somos, de dónde venimos, pero sobre todo hacia dónde vamos. Créanme que este día va a ser un día histórico. Mi nombre es Judith Larson, sí, Larson, pero no se fijen en el apellido, porque mi español es mejor que mi inglés. Es Norma. Mi papá quiso irse a Vietnam, no quiso ir a Vietnam, perdón, y se fue a México a aprender español, pero yo creo que aprendió otras cosas porque somos 3 hijos. Soy madre líder de Ciera de pie y tengo una hija hermosa de 14 años que está en el 9º grado en Supt High School. Mi solecito, como yo le digo, desde muy pequeña tiene el sueño de ir a UCLA, pero con la pandemia y la educación a distancia, cree que su sueño está cada vez más lejos. Señor Carvalho, recientemente hemos venido escuchando el título del plan estratégico, preparados para el futuro, para el mundo, perdón. Y eso a mí me suena muy bonito, pero le resta responsabilidad. Y me gustaría cambiarlo a preparémoslos, que es una palabra complicada, entre todos, no solo el distrito, no solo usted, sino los padres que hoy aquí estamos y los que no pudieron venir. Preparémoslos para el futuro en lugar de preparados, así todos aquí cooperamos. No solo los preparamos no solo para una carrera competitiva y eventualmente un trabajo competitivo, sino de verdad para un mundo competitivo. Y cuando digo preparémoslos, me refiero a que no solo el distrito, no solo usted, sino también los padres y madres unidas que estamos de verdad y que podemos lograr cambiar la manera en la que educamos, recuerden, nuestras futuras generaciones y nuestra futura sociedad. ¿Cómo lo podríamos lograr? En mi experiencia personal, déjenme decirles, todos sabemos que hemos estado pasando por tiempos difíciles con la educación a distancia y con esto del COVID, pero yo les voy a dar un ejemplo. Mi hija tiene un compañerito de escuela que fue jefe. y después de la pandemia, y desafortunadamente, él regresó y ya no sintió conexión con las clases a distancia. Y además, cuando hubo la transición a en línea, se perdió mucho tiempo por falta de recursos. Cuando hubo el regreso a clases presenciales, no hubo los tutores necesarios para ayudar a este amigo de mi niña, que vive con un gran impacto académico y socioemocional, de ninguna manera. Obviamente también esto afectó a su mamá, mi amiga, que la vi llorar muchas veces por el tema. Así como él, hay miles de estudiantes en Los Ángeles, en el Distrito Unificado de Los Ángeles, que siguen viviendo los impactos de la pandemia. Lo que queremos lograr con esto es que no los afecte de por vida. Este es el momento, y con la ayuda y el apoyo de usted, lo podemos lograr. Para mí la tutoría de calidad es una gran herramienta porque representa presencia y crea una conexión entre el tutor y el niño. Y esto solo puede pasar cuando es de uno a uno. Esto le da a los niños una relación consistente en sus vidas y los hace sentirse parte de algo. Ya para concluir, algo en mi corazón de madre me dice que usted va a hacer el cambio y está a favor de la buena educación de nuestros niños. Usted ha pasado por mucho y entiende de lo que estamos hablando. Además, ahora tiene una mejor manera de saber a dónde vamos. Ahora usted ya nos entiende un poquito más. Confiamos en usted, en su visión y su misión, pero queremos que sepa que no va solo. Vamos con usted. Ahora les voy a pedir a mis compañeros a manera de cierre, no antes de darles las gracias a todos y cada uno de ustedes por su tiempo, porque para mí el tiempo es vida y han compartido un pedacito de su vida hoy con nosotros. Ahora les voy a pedir que hagamos una porra y que digan primero en inglés, "Let us prepare them for the war." ¿Están listos? Preparémonos para el mundo. Disculpen una vez más en inglés, por favor, para que no se nos olvidemos y llevemos eso dentro de nuestro corazón. Una vez más en inglés, por favor. Let us prepare them for the world. Preparémonos para el mundo. Thank you guys so much for having me. Can you hear me okay with my mask on? Yeah. I'm an upper crier, so I had to put the mask on. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Ciera. I am here today advocating for my son, Aida. He is currently in 5th grade and he attends Ambassador School of Global Education out in Koreatown. It is part of the Robert F. Kennedy Community Schools. And recently my son has been experiencing racism at his school. He has been called a racial slur on several different occasions by several different of his peers. And each of those times I've gone to the school, I've stated my concerns, I've tried to address them, and each time I've gone to the school to demand answers and request support as to why no preventative measures have been put in place in order to stop this from happening. I wasn't really given an answer. I met with the school coordinator as well as the principal. More recently, toward the tail end of last year, and I don't feel like we received adequate support during those meetings. I'm being told that it's a zero tolerance policy, and we don't stand for that. However, like I mentioned, there's no preventative measures put in place. So I'm suggesting during these meetings,
you know, what little I know, I said, well, let's put up signs, you know, let's signage around the school, you know, no racism, or, you know, it won't be tolerated here. Maybe passing out letters to the families notifying them, you know, this is a problem at our school, it will be addressed, and these are the consequences. That's what I was hoping for. I was told that it sounds like a great idea to get the letters out. I was told that something like this was going to be sent out the beginning of the school year, and that has yet to be sent out. I didn't know who to contact. I didn't know who to reach out to for support. And I ended up calling numbers. I called LAUSD complaints and harassment department and got connected to the administrator over our school. And I explained how I didn't feel supported at the school. And I wanted to make sure that I did all I could for my son. I wanted to make sure I was advocating appropriately for him. And I wanted to make sure that the school was in compliance with their discrimination laws. And in so few words, she told me, similarly to what the principal had said, you know, we're gonna have meetings, there's gonna be councils, you know, we're gonna get together with the other districts and talk about it because it is a zero tolerance policy. But, you know, I said, that's great, you know, we're planning for the future, we're hoping to have these meetings and things like that, but how does that help my son today? Again, I don't feel like any preventative measures were put in place, such as, again, the signage around the school, maybe sending out letters, to tackle it head on. I will say that I am very excited that there is more funding for the Black Student Achievement Plan this year. And we need to make sure that our one priority is to make sure that our Black students feel safe at their schools. I believe that having a community, having like a team of voices and other parents behind me, I feel like that would have made an impact during that meeting. I'm just one person, I'm just one mom. You know, his school is predominantly Hispanic in Asia. There's maybe a couple of Black kids at his school, but I feel like, you know, had I had other parents there, you know, standing beside me like, hey, we demand answers. We want to know what's going to be done about this. I feel like maybe they would have heard me out. I can't thank you enough for being here. And really quickly, it means so much to me for my son to be here and see me advocate for him. So, thank you.
And we know that many of us have our own stories of pain and worry, just like we heard from these two mothers. It was my concern over both of my daughter's school experiences that first led me to get involved with other Black parents in my community. Same scenario 4 years ago. So, since then, I have become an educator, and based on my experience as a first-year teacher, my motivation for student success has increased not only for my own children, but for the 180 students that sit before me daily, whose parents experience some of the same concerns that I do. Unfortunately, we do not have time tonight to hear all of those stories, or all of our stories, but we want to acknowledge them. I want everyone to take a moment right now from where you are sitting and shout out the name of a child or children, student or parent that compelled you to come here tonight. So I'm going to pause, and on the count of 3, we can all shout. So 1, 2, 3. All right. Recognize that we are not alone. It is these stories and names that motivate us to keep fighting, but it is also the data that drives the need for more resources and support for children. Superintendent Carvalho, in addition to our stories that you've just heard, we would like to share with you some of the data that motivates us to keep pressing forward.
a todos. Me alegra ver a tantos padres aquí reunidos esta noche. Mi nombre es Aida Vega. Soy una de las madres líderes de Innovate Public School y tengo actualmente una estudiante de 10 grado en la escuela pública de LAUSD. Estoy muy contenta de ver esta noche reunidos aquí a los padres para unir fuerzas con el superintendente Carvalho para un cambio real para nuestros estudiantes. Y hoy con Pastor Watts, yo presentaré el reporte de investigación. Las metas de este reporte son lo siguiente: mostrar el impacto de la pandemia y los resultados académicos de los estudiantes, compartir la cantidad de fondos disponibles para apoyar a los estudiantes este año, mostrar lo que es posible cuando los padres lideran. Durante la pandemia, los estudiantes de LAUSD perdieron un equivalente de 4 a 6 años de progreso en lectura y matemáticas. En este momento, solo 42% de los estudiantes están a nivel de grado en inglés y nos lleva desde egreso, donde estaba el distrito en el 2017 y el 2018. Y solo 28% están a nivel de grado en matemáticas, lo que nos lleva desde egreso, donde estaba el distrito en el 2015 y el 2016. Hay muchas escuelas donde el porcentaje de estudiantes a nivel de grado está debajo de los 7%. Si en el 2022 y 2023 estos datos no mejoran, el porcentaje llegará a 0%. Todos los estudiantes experimentaron contratiempos, pero los estudiantes latinos y afroamericanos se vieron afectados de manera desproporcionada. Solo 35% de estudiantes afroamericanos está a nivel de grado en inglés y solo 36% de estudiantes latinos están a nivel de grado en inglés. Estos datos muestran que nuestros estudiantes necesitan ser más preparados. Ahora le paso la palabra a Pastor Watts, que seguirá compartiendo los datos del reporte de investigación.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Pastor Peter Watts, pastor of the Rock Church and CEO and co-founder of a family foundation called Watts Power. We have an initiative called Teacher Village where we recruit, retain, and place Black men to be teachers in schools in LA. I'm a former elementary school teacher for LAUSD. Started teaching back in 1997, and I just saw one of my former students walk in today. I was just really excited about that. Former school site administrator and father of 3 young adult children who all graduated from schools here in Los Angeles. 2 of them are currently working as educators in LAUSD as a teacher at elementary school teaching dance, and one who works as a psychiatric social worker for the Black Student Achievement Plan, as a matter of fact. So I want to talk to you today or tonight about an $18 billion budget. This year, LAUSD has its largest budget ever, $18 billion. And within that $18 billion budget, they received $1.4 billion in one-time recovery funds for this year alone. And we're here tonight to make sure that these one-time dollars go directly to services to support students. Innovate Parent leaders and other organizations advocated for a large part of these recovery funds at the state level. The expanded learning program is what we also advocated for in those recovery funds. And the intent of the extended learning program funds was for students to receive the necessary resources to get back on track. And the district has enough money to ensure all students receive the resources they need this year. So let's make sure it is spent effectively, with equity, and with results. The second thing I want to talk to you about is the $184 million for the Black Student Achievement Plan. LAUSD budgeted $184 million for the Black Student Achievement Plan this year. And we know that not all of last year's budgeted funds for BSAP were spent. And this year's budget for BSAP includes $39 million of funds left over from last year. And this just cannot happen again. Unused funding shortchanges students, especially Black and Latino students. Parents need LAUSD to deliver on their promises and use funds on programs and services that will actually reach our kids this school year, not last school year or next school year, but everybody say this school year. We cannot keep waiting. I know the Bible says they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength, but we're not waiting now. Amen. Now I want to talk about the $28 million for tutoring. LAUSD has also budgeted $28 million for tutoring this year. High quality tutoring is one of the most effective interventions that can help students catch up and accelerate academically. And we need this money to be spent on one-on-one or small group tutoring, not homework help. There's a difference between tutoring and homework help. And unfortunately, we know that the district has made many challenges, or has had many challenges in implementing tutoring. For example, the district has a contract with Booknook to provide tutoring services to 5,000 students, but so far only 500 of those 5,000 have been tutored through Booknook. And so this year, we just need to see many more students receive high quality one-on-one or small group tutoring. Next, I want to talk about the citywide Black Student Achievement Parent Leadership Team that I've been a part of for the past 4 years. In 2018, we started convening a team of parents concerned about Black student achievement in LAUSD, and our team included parents and grandparents and educators from all types of schools, whether it was charter, district, or magnet. And our mission was simple. It was, and still is, to eliminate the achievement gap. Of the 40,000 Black students in LAUSD, back in 2018, that number was 50,000 back in 2019. But now we're looking at 40,000 Black students in LAUSD. And in those first 2 years, we met with hundreds of parents, community members, local clergy, school officials, district leaders to learn and develop a plan for Black students. In December of 2019, I'll never forget, the local district superintendent, Mike Romero, in local district South committed in front of a large group just like this, members of our community, to unapologetically focus on Black students in local district South. And this is actually what led to the creation of what we call the Validated Plan for Black students in local district South. And after months of working and organizing, we were able to work with the local district Superintendent Mike Romero and Board Member Tanya Ortiz Franklin to get the Validated Plan for Black students implemented in local district South. And you can clap for that. Let me tell you, this plan that we helped to put together along with the district, parents and community members, the plan describes how schools will promote equity and access for Black students so that they can thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. Innovate parent leaders, community members, and district leaders worked together. I'm going to say it again. The community worked together to make this plan possible. Even in the midst of a pandemic, we worked together. And thanks to this unapologetic focus and a clear plan for Black students, local district South is seeing positive results. When parents lead, results follow. I'm going to say that again. When parents lead, results follow. The number of black students in kindergarten and first grade that were on grade level in reading grew this year by 14 percentage points. So now, because of our work together in Local District South, now more than half of black kindergartners and first graders are on track in reading. And we were also already seeing results for both for high school students as well. This past year, in 2022, 6 out of 10 black students in Local District South graduated eligible for public university. It means that they got a C or better, and they were eligible for UC or CSU admission. This represents an increase of 16%. So Superintendent Carvalho, let's work together. Let's work together to ensure black students continue to grow and excel and to provide the resources necessary so that all black students across the district can see results like these. And now I'll pass it back to Aida Vega, who will close out the research report.
Continuamos. El equipo de padres del sureste incluye cientos de padres que han abogado para la tutoría desde el principio de la pandemia. Estamos enfocados en mejorar las escuelas del sureste. Somos padres líderes, abogando a nivel local y a nivel estatal para que la educación académica mejore. En el 2022 ganamos $220,000 de las ciudades de Huntington Park y Supt. Gracias a estos fondos, las escuelas, gracias a estos fondos por los cuales abogamos, una organización comunitaria de tutoría brindó tutoría gratuita de alta dosis a 52 estudiantes de Huntington Park y Supt durante el verano, un periodo de 5 semanas. Estudiantes que participaron recibieron tutoría 1 a 1, 4 veces por semana, con un tutor consistente. Este programa usa los datos para monitorear e informar el progreso de cada estudiante. Queremos que el LAUSD invierta dinero en este tipo de tutorías. No debemos de confundir la tutoría con la ayuda de tarea. Los estudiantes necesitan tutoría 1 a 1. En grupos pequeños, reunirse con un tutor consistente por lo menos 3 veces por semana. Podemos ver que este tipo de tutoría de calidad tiene buenos resultados. Como dijo Pastor Juan, cuando los padres lideran, los resultados siguen. Después de solo 5 semanas de tutoría, el porcentaje de estudiantes a nivel de grado de inglés aumentó de 39% a 52%. El porcentaje de estudiantes de nivel de grado en matemáticas aumentó del 55% al 66%. En estos momentos, solo 5 de cada 10 estudiantes de LAUSD se gradúan y son elegibles para una UC o una USU. Si se implementara esta manera efectiva con los recursos necesarios, como la tutoría de alta dosis, el distrito puede llegar a la meta de garantizar de 7 de cada 10 estudiantes se gradúen y sean elegibles para una UC o una USU. ¿Cuántos de ustedes, padres, levanten la mano? Pueden levantarse de sus sillas y pueden levantar la hoja anaranjada que se las entregó. ¿Quieren que sus hijos vayan a las universidades? Levántense. ¿Cuántos? ¿Y cuántos de sus hijos y sus hijas quieren ir a las universidades? Superintendente Carvalho, como usted puede ver, todos los padres estamos aquí para que mejore lo académico. Queremos lo mejor para nuestros hijos y que se vayan a las universidades bien preparados. Gracias a todos los padres aquí presentes. Pueden tomar asiento. A continuación tenemos al señor Salvador que va a seguir nuestra agenda. Y muchas gracias.
Muchísimas gracias, Aida y Pastor Watts. Los datos son súper importantes y fue poderoso escuchar cuando los padres son líderes, los resultados siguen. Ahora quiero invitar al superintendente Carvalho y darle la oportunidad para responder a los testimonios y a los datos que acabamos de presentar y que nos cuente un poco más de su plan estratégico. Superintendente, tiene 10 minutos en total. Nuestra medidora de tiempo lo dejará saber cuando le falte un minuto. Adelante, gracias.
Where's the timekeeper? Okay. Pastor Gates, to the community of this beautiful church, to the voice that spoke so loudly, Keisha, and Salvador, and those who provided testimonial, thank you so much for your words, for your conviction, for your passion, and your courage in advocating for your rights without abdicating your responsibilities. Involve parents, involve communities, involve faith leaders, bring about an elevation of the potential of children anywhere in Los Angeles, anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. Let me take about 30 seconds to first of all reintroduce myself to you, because I want you to ignore the suit and the tie. I don't even know if I belong behind the stage right now because you really don't know me. But trust me, I am you and I am your children. Born into poverty, one of 6, the only one to graduate high school, lived in the projects in a one-room apartment with no running water, electricity, curtain separating mom and dad from us. 2 of my siblings died premature deaths as a result of poverty and lack of access to health care. I graduated high school. I had to come to this country after working 8 months at the age of 16 to go to college. My first job here was as a dishwasher. My second job was as a day laborer. My third job was working in farms, picking strawberries and okra and tomatoes. Education turned once homeless, poor kid, immigrant, undocumented to this country to a teacher, and today as a superintendent. There's nothing that is impossible if the community rallies, if we are determined, if we are honest, and if we are transparent. That is exactly what I hope to bring through my leadership to this community. Estoy aquí para honrar esta comunidad. Estoy aquí para educar a nuestros hijos. Estoy aquí para comprometerme personalmente y profesionalmente a los valores de esta comunidad. Fe, esperanza, compromisos y resultados. Now I know there've been folks before me, and no doubt there'll be folks after me. But I'm here to do a job. I was invited to come to Los Angeles. And now that I'm here, I promise you this. Based on our recently adopted strategic plan, with 4 specific goals that address the data up there. Increased literacy, increased numeracy, increased graduation rates and post-secondary success, ensuring that our students graduate not only with a diploma, but with the power and the credentials to enter a college and university in the state of California. And beyond literacy and numeracy and graduation rates and post-secondary success, yes, this is a community that has been traumatized. We need to provide the social and emotional support and the mental health support our students and their parents need. And by the way, our workforce as well. We will do right by them as well, no matter what some say at this point. So I'm here to tell you, as loudly as I possibly can, we will do this. It will not take 4 years. We will show results very soon. Let me begin to reemphasize some of the things you already asked me. BSAP is a great program, so much so that since I arrived, I increased the budget by $20 million. Spending is a great way of investing. That is why since I arrived, and because I believe in it, I invested an additional $100 million in this year's budget. In fact, as the previous speaker said, $1.4 billion of discretionary money available to elevate the potential of our students and accelerate their learning. Guess what? In this year's budget, we appropriated $1.9 billion specifically targeting the most fragile children and the most fragile schools in this district. We went beyond that as part of a strategic plan and deliberate action. We identified the 100 weakest, most fragile schools with the highest poverty, with the highest percentage of students who are English language learners, with the highest percentage of students who are homeless. And they report directly to me. And I force my team to meet with those principals. And that is where we're investing the vast majority of the money to elevate the 10% of our students in our community who should get 90% of the attention. Do not expect me to be the superintendent who will treat everybody the same, because not everybody starts the same. The poorest, the most fragile, the most aggrieved are the ones who will get the most resources, the most support, but also the most accountability. Let me speak specifically about tutoring. No, this district does not have a track record that is excellent as far as tutorial services for students. Last year, 1 out of every 10 students got it. Of those who needed it, that is insufficient. We grew that going to the summer to 2 out of 10. That is insufficient. At this point, 55,000 students are getting tutoring services. That is insufficient because not all of it, particularly for the neediest students, is high quality, small ratio, high dose tutoring. I, much like you, believe in the value of it. Let me tell you some truths. This past week, I brought the presidents of the tutoring companies into my office because I kept hearing from teachers and principals that some of these private companies overpromise and often underdeliver. Only a couple of them actually brought the tutors to the school as they promised they would. Many sent people that were not trained, did not know what they were going to do, or sent nobody at all. Now, I'm not here to criticize these companies. I'm here to tell them, you promised something, deliver on it, because in my world, a promise made is a promise kept. En mi calidad, una promesa hecha es una promesa cumplida. Yo voy a cumplir con mis promesas, con mis compromisos, y les prometo a ustedes, vamos a conseguir los resultados que nuestros niños merecen. Todos ellos. niños latinos, niños afroamericanos, niños pobres, niños sin hogar, todos ellos. I'm here to take your questions. Do not worry about hurting my feelings, because educating kids is not about feelings. It is about reality, it is about hard work, it is about doing the right thing. I'll take your question.
Okay, so now we come to commitment time because when parents leave, results follow. So for this section, we have prepared questions for Superintendent Carvalho. And based on our priorities for this meeting, based on the priorities for this meeting. So we have Rosie, Kati, and Norma to please join Superintendent Carvalho at the podium. They will each take turns asking you their questions one at a time, and then you'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question. Hard to follow that energy.
It's okay. And I haven't had dinner yet.
Thank you very much for being here with us tonight. My name is Rosie Coleman. I am a mother of 5 biracial boys, 3 which attend LAUSD local district's South School. I'm also a parent leader with the citywide parent student achievement team, and which fought to win the validated plans, and we're aware of everything it is that we're asking you. I have already seen changes at the middle school level. I have a son who is now part of a program called Voice to Men, where they enrich them with culture. They provide different life skills for them, and even teach them how to put a tie on. So I see that it is possible that when the funds are available, things can actually happen, change can happen. It is my hope that every Black child, student in the district receive the same type of support that the Validated has offered my son. We're excited to hear about the $184 million in the budget committed for the Black Achievement Plan. And we are asking, do you commit to spend at least 80% of the allocated VSAP funds in this school year? And how do you plan to make sure that happens?
So thank you, Rose. Number one, you know what? Education funding is not a savings account. Education funding is used to help this year's students. In fact, I didn't know this question was coming, but in every one of my meetings with my staff, I tell them, the funding kids get this year as 6th graders, for example, is for this year's 6th graders. It's not for next year's 7th graders or the year after 8th graders. Now, there's a problem with that. There's a problem with that. A lot of the money that was invested, appropriated last year for BSAP or for SENI, for example, was earmarked in a way to hire additional counselors or psychiatric social workers or teachers. And guess what? There haven't been enough teachers to be hired. So we're doing better this year. Actually, we hired 2,000 teachers this year. That's a lot more than over the previous 3 to 4 years, but still not enough. But here's my compromiso, my promise. We've developed systems to track the expenditure of the funds, to ensure that the dollars are spent in the way they were promised within the time frame that will benefit the students this year. And by the way, I'm not alone in this, so this gives me an opportunity to introduce you to some of the people who are responsible for this work. And we are joined here by somebody who actually began working with LAUSD for the 2nd time around just about a week ago. Dr. Carla Estrada is our new Deputy Superintendent for LAUSD. All of the local district superintendents and the curricular programs, BSAP, report to Dr. Carla Estrada. Can you stand up very quickly? And we also have the Chief Academic Officer, Francis Diaz, was a local district superintendent, brilliant mind as well, and she too is responsible for the curricular program. So the easy answer to your question, yes, I believe that 80% is a terrific goal. We are monitoring the expenditures. We expect the funds to be spent on this year's students not in the future by addressing their critical needs right now.
Well, thank you very much. We are in partnership with you, and we hope to foster a working relationship with you to help implement the validated plan, because after all, we are stakeholders. These are our children we're talking about, and we have our full support to facilitate your strategic plan.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Los amigos de mis niños son mis amigos. Okay.
Buenas noches a todos, mi nombre es Meza, soy un padre líder en el sureste. Mi hijo se llama Matthew, está en 5º grado y se está organizando con niños de su escuela para tener una reunión con usted. La tutoría refuerza las capacidades y fortalece las debilidades académicas. Todos los niños pueden beneficiarse de tutoría si necesitan ayuda con algún tema en específico o si quieren fortalecer alguna materia que necesiten. En mi caso, Matthew recibió tutoría. Matthew es uno de los niños que Aida mencionó en el porcentaje de las tutorías de verano, y él avanzó bastante porque tuvo un tutor que trabajó con él a sus necesidades y a su capacidad, y él tuvo un avance muy grande porque de estar en 4º grado, él aprendió álgebra de 6º grado porque tenía un tutor solo para él. Una de mis preguntas es, ¿quiénes son los responsables con usted de la implementación de las tutorías?
Aquí está. La doctora Carla Estrada, un producto de nuestra comunidad, una alumna del sistema de LAUSD, se graduó de nuestro sistema escolar, trabajó para nuestro sistema escolar y después se fue a trabajar en varias ciudades, en Boston, trabajó a nivel nacional y ahora está aquí de vuelta como superintendente asociada, responsable por los programas de educación, responsable por los programas de tutoría, responsable por la parte más importante de nuestro sistema escolar, el proceso de aprendizaje, educación, y eso significa que es parte de su responsabilidad. Y la señora Frances Valles también. Pero, al final del día, mi tipo de liderazgo, the way I lead, if it's her responsibility, it's my responsibility. My responsibility. I came here for our kids to win. So I know we don't have a good track record with programs of tutoring. No tenemos una buena historia lo que tiene a ver con los programas de tutoría. Tenemos que mejorarlo. Y mi presión va a ser sobre las entidades privadas, pero también necesito su ayuda. I need your help. Because a huge number of kids who could and should get tutoring don't show up for it. Necesito su apoyo también. Y yo sé que con Innovate Public Schools yo tengo el apoyo. Pero ustedes hacen un muy buen labor. Pero tenemos otros padres de familia que están muy ocupados. Necesitamos hablar con ellos. Tenemos la capacidad de enseñar, de crear una oportunidad de tutoría para miles de estudiantes. Pero muchos de ellos no están asistiendo a los programas de alta calidad que estamos ofreciendo. Al mismo tiempo, necesito el apoyo de Innovate Public Schools, de las iglesias, de la comunidad, para que las entidades privadas que están ganando mucha plata, hagan su deber, cumplan con su deber también. Pero la responsabilidad es mía, de ella, de todos los directores de escuela, pero empieza conmigo.
Gracias. ¿Se puede comprometer con nosotros a tener una reunión en el principio del 2023 con Carla y con Frances para tratar los temas de tutoría y ver los datos?
Sí.
Al igual que usted, no queremos que otro año pase sin invertir el presupuesto de la tutoría que ya tenemos. Los alumnos necesitan la tutoría en este momento. Estamos de acuerdo que las tutorías de grupos pequeños y uno a uno se tienen que ofrecer primero a los alumnos que más lo necesitan. Aún así, si esos espacios no se llenan antes del 1 de febrero, ¿podemos ofrecer esa tutoría de grupos pequeños a más alumnos que lo necesiten?
Claro que sí, tenemos la capacidad. los recursos y ya hemos identificado los niños más necesitados de un punto de vista académico. We have the money, we have the resources, we have the capacity, and we already identified the students who need most of the attention. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We want to help the students who need it the most first. That's why we tier 1, 2, 3. Hemos clasificado los niños basado en sus necesidades académicas. Vamos a empezar los programas de tutoría con los niños más necesitados. ¿Lo merecen? Esa es mi promesa, mi compromiso.
Una de las maneras de asegurar que más alumnos tengan acceso a tutoría es asegurándonos que los programas virtuales de fase 2 y 3 de tutoría y grupos pequeños sean más flexibles para poder comprometerse a permitir dejar que los padres o guardianes sean supervisores para los alumnos. ¿Puede comprometerse a que eso pase, que los padres y los guardianes sean supervisores para que los niños tengan tutoría virtual en casa?
Within I guess the ones who don't know Spanish is being translated in English as well? Okay. So, this is a tricky one, because under California law, there are some instances where the tutoring program needs to be supervised, okay? Now, this is new to me, so we are working through that. But look, not only do I believe in parents being a support agent to students, I believe in many instances we should be hiring the parents. And I'm working with staff to create, through our new Parent Academy, which we launched, programs to help parents develop the skill sets so parents become employees of the school system. Why not? Why not? I believe in that. So whether the tutoring is virtually at home, now we can do it. You know why? Because over the past 8 months, we invested $52 million in computers and hardwired connectivity to make sure that every single family, every single student who needs a computer, who needs connectivity, actually has it. And I do believe in the parents being the supervisors, the tutor aides to the process. Yo creo en el poder colectivo de los padres de familia. Y es por eso que hemos creado el colegio para padres, para enseñar a los padres lo que necesitan para ser empleados de nuestro sistema escolar. Y además, el conocimiento para apoyar a nuestros niños en sus hogares, en sus casas, dar el apoyo académico que nuestros niños necesitan. So that's an easy yes, an easy yes.
Mi compañera Aida, de los 220,000 que agarramos por parte de las ciudades, estaría dispuesto en los próximos 90 días a reunirse con algunos de nuestros alcaldes que han apoyado el programa de tutoría para tener otra conversación con usted y con los alcaldes y los padres líderes.
Hace 3 semanas me reuní con los alcaldes de Ciera y lo voy a hacer otra vez y otra vez, porque yo sé que una educación de alta calidad no es solamente la responsabilidad de los maestros o los directores de escuela, es una responsabilidad comunitaria. Pertenece a ustedes como padre de familia, a los alcaldes, a los representantes, a todos. Y el día que nuestra comunidad reconoce que la educación pública es una responsabilidad universal y comunitaria, nuestros niños van a beneficiar. So I believe that, yes, I met with the mayors of Cella about 3 weeks ago. I will keep coming back. They represent our community, and this is a community where the mayors, as you said, have made an investment. All I want is, instead of 200,000, 2 million. Why not? And you know what? An example to other mayors, that they too should invest in that which is most important. So yes, I will meet with them time and time again.
Y que esos 2 millones que den los alcaldes del distrito los igualen. Gracias.
Buenas tardes, desde Carvalho. Mi nombre es Norma Diaz. Para mí es un gusto conocerla en persona, porque creo mucho en lo que usted está haciendo, en los cambios, y creo que va a ser un éxito en el distrito escolar con los cambios que tiene usted. Como hemos estado diciendo toda la noche, cuando los padres liderean, los resultados siguen. Algo que nos emociona mucho de su liderazgo es que parece que es verdad creer en este lema. Las promesas de su plan estratégico nos han llenado de esperanza y emoción sobre un nuevo futuro y posibilidades para nuestros niños. Queremos asegurarnos que cada padre del distrito entienda las promesas dentro de su plan estratégico, porque podemos ayudarle asegurando que esto sea implementado. Nosotros queremos crear una guía de padres para el plan estratégico, una guía fácil de entender para padres que ayude a asegurar que las estrategias se están implementando en cada escuela. Superintendente Carvalho, usted puede trabajar con nosotros para crear esta guía. Luego podemos usar los comités de padres del distrito para entrenar a más padres en cómo usar estas guías en las escuelas.
Claro que sí, la información es una forma de poder. Con información, con educación se puede cambiar el mundo. Con información, educación, no solamente para los niños, pero también para los padres de familia. Principalmente padres de familia que tienen dos trabajos, que están ocupados. Muchos de ellos recién llegados a este país, inmigrantes, que todavía no saben las reglas, las leyes, las responsabilidades, pero también los derechos. Mi papá y mi mamá no sabían sus derechos. Y las víctimas fueron mis hermanos y mi hermana. Por eso es muy fácil prometer a usted y a los padres de familia y a esta comunidad que tenemos la oportunidad, la habilidad y la responsabilidad de crear los guías para orientar a los padres de familia. Y es una base muy importante. Por eso, una vez más, sí.
Gracias. De verdad, gracias, porque cuando involucran padres, creo que es tomar la voz de los padres, escuchar y trabajar juntos, creo que eso hace un gran éxito y va a ser súper mejor para el distrito. Muchísimas gracias. ¿Y con quién podemos dar seguimiento para asegurar, para hacer una reunión, para dar paso hacia adelante?
¿Para la segunda reunión?
¿Perdón?
¿Cuál es la pregunta?
Sí, ¿con quién podemos agendar una cita para dar seguimiento a hacer este plan?
Con mi oficina directamente, con la oficina de la doctora Estrada, con la oficina de la señora Baez, con la oficina de Ceremony. Aquí estamos. Estamos aquí unidos para que ustedes sepan que tenemos una determinación y un sueño que puede ser realizado, no solamente por una persona. Una persona sola no alcanza nada. Juntos conseguimoslo todo. Por eso tengo mi equipo de trabajo aquí, un equipo de trabajo que entiende la comunidad de Los Ángeles, pero pueden llamarme directamente a mí también. Yo soy una persona que
para apoyarlo para que su plan sea un éxito. Gracias.
So at this time, we're going to have our last question with Pastor Gates.
Mr. Superintendent, I got to first say, you're the sharpest dresser I've seen. I started to get my hair to lay like yours, but it wouldn't do it, so I cut it all off. You said something that was music to my ears. You included the faith-based community. That is music to our ears because there are a lot of churches in the black and brown communities that have, like I have next door, facilities. We're talking about stats and we're talking about achievement, and the tutoring programs that are being that are operating now. Where the new sites is my concern, because there are a lot of churches that have open space for tutoring and they're a pillar of the community. I want to know if I gather about 20 or more pastors from the black and brown community, would you meet with us so that we can help you get a win for the black student achievement programs in this community? Would you help us?
Pastor, you're not going to believe this probably, but one of my goals and promises, and Ciera is working on this, is I want to create the superintendent's faith-based advisory committee. I need pastors, representative leaders of faith to meet with me regularly. And people will say, separation of church and state, absolutely, we'll follow those rules, but you know what? I know where parents go, and what is wrong with having an echo of education in your temple, in your church, in your synagogue, wherever it is. So let me make sure the answer is yes. Don't bring 20, bring 40. Bring 40. And I'll tell you, I would love to do something here that I did in my former community, where I actually generated grant funds to earmark via competitive process to faith-based leaders who wanted to do educational programs for parents and students at church. What was wrong with that? So if you have space, I'd love to hear the plans, the possibility of using these sites, the site you just described, as one more place where kids can connect to learning. I'd love to use that site for Parent Academy courses, because I want to reach students where they are. I want to reach parents where they are. I'm not waiting for them to come to me. I'll go to them. Okay? I'll go to them. Just like last week, we went, myself included, my team knocking on doors and getting kids out of bed to send them to school and trying to understand the parents, the problems that parents face. Just like last night at 7:30 at night, I was calling parents from my home. Parents of kids whose children have been absent 10, 15 days. And I didn't do it alone. Board members were out there. We had hundreds of people knocking on 9,000 doors. Now we need to knock on 18,000 doors next month. And then another 18,000. We should be tireless about this. And I'm not alone. I see Didi Watts here. She represents Tanya. Tanya is your board member. She has knocked on doors. You see, that's what we agree. This is not your job. It's not my job. It's not your job. It's our job. And the day we recognize it's our job, our responsibility, then it's got to become our commitment. And I'm not going to stop. So bring 20, bring 30, bring 40. I want to be your partner. Your partner.
Real close to here, so. This group of parents, we gonna hold you to it.
This country's been holding to a lot for a long time. People like me, like you, we don't get away with much. The expectation's a little higher for us.
Okay, so, Superintendent Carvalho, it was so powerful to have you here tonight. Thank you for your commitment to our students, and remember, when parents lead, results follow. I'm going to take a minute to review the commitments we received from you tonight. So, committed to spending this year's BSAP funds on this year's BSAP students, and you also stated 80% is a goal, is a great goal. Committed to meet with us early 2023 about phases 2 and 3 of the tutoring program. Committed to serving the highest needs students through the tutoring program, highest needs first and tier. Committed to allowing parents and guardians to be supervisors so students can participate in tutoring at home, and that's done through the Parent Academy, so parents be sure to participate in the Parent Academy. I do it at work. So, committed to meeting with SALA parent leaders and mayors focused on tutoring over the next 90 days. Committed to working with us on a parent guide to the strategic plan, and committed to meet with a group of pastors, not 20, but 40, here in the community. So, we believe in your strategic plan and are excited and willing to work with you to ensure all the promises it holds for our kids are not just imagined, but are realized. Salvador.
qué noche. Hermosa, con fe y esperanza y con un historial que nunca antes habíamos visto. Démonos un fuerte aplauso a su compañero Carvalho, porque son las personas que hicieron posible este evento. Y esto solamente es el principio. Tenemos dos oportunidades a corto plazo para luchar por las promesas del plan estratégico. Primero, empezaremos porque sigan involucrados con nosotros para asegurar que las promesas de hoy día, esta noche, sean realizadas. Tenemos 3 comités de hoy en la noche que van a estar en la pantalla y también les pedimos que por favor cuando entraron les dieron un papelito que lo llenen para que este papel sea su pregunta y cuando lo entreguen al final en la puerta se le va a dar seguimiento. El número 2, finalmente en febrero va a haber un evento con el gobernador Newsom para enfatizar las prioridades de los padres en su próximo presupuesto estatal y continuar abogando por más recursos para la tutoría de alta calidad. Cuando este evento se agende, mandaremos una fecha tentativa para todos los que asistieron esta noche y sepan cuándo va a ser. Gracias por venir, gracias por unirse. Gracias al superintendente Carvalho por su liderazgo y su tiempo. Gracias al pastor Gates y a los coordinadores de Innovate Public School, padres líderes de Innovate y a todos nuestros visitantes de nuestros gobiernos locales y a los medios de comunicación, a los intérpretes, a todos los padres y a todas las personas que hicieron posible este evento. Y ahora para cerrar, escuchemos la música del mariachi.
Real quick, sorry. Before we get the mariachi down here, I just wanted to make a quick announcement regarding the parking lot. When you exit, make sure you exit towards your left. Not the right, because you will cause traffic with the oncoming traffic from the exit, so make sure to exit left. Para las personas que se estacionaron aquí en el estacionamiento afuera, favor de salir a su izquierda solamente. No hagan la derecha, porque si no van a interferir con el tráfico que viene saliendo aquí de la salida del freeway. Por favor, nomás la izquierda. Only the left, please. Thank you.
Yeah, he seems like a cool guy. Seems like he's pretty sincere. You know, you always got to give him time.